I graduated from McKinley in 1950. I started Southern University right after that. Needless to say, I'm going to brag a little bit. I was on the dean's list most of the time. I got my degree, my bachelor's degree in elementary education and library science, 1955. Okay. I took time off to have babies. I had babies in between. I was married and had children. After that, Tyrone was born in December. I was offered a job in January as a school teacher, and I took it. And he was just a little bitty baby. So I started teaching school, elementary school, in another little cottage. I mean, it was a bigger school, but I happened to have been in one of these little houses because they didn't have a room for me. I stayed in that little cottage for about 6 months. Then they moved me into the cafeteria. My first class had 40 children in it.
Wow.
My first year's check was $3,995.
For a year?
For 1 year. My first check. After that, I stayed at this particular school out in the park until they moved me to the library in another area of town. I had all of my credentials to become the librarian. I started my graduate work at LSU in 1980. And I did that part-time. I was teaching and I had the kids. Did it part-time until I was getting ready to finish my graduate work. Then I took a year's sabbatical leave. And Bobby took care of the kids while I went to school. And got my master's in library science and education. And then I continued.
What year did you get to that
What
degree?
year did I get my master's?
Yeah.
83. I think it was 83.
Okay.
And then I continued my postgraduate work.
I remember when you got your master's.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah, I remember when you went study. Yeah.
I have that picture. I'm gonna show it to you. I'm saying, oh my God, but I'm gonna show it to you. I'll show it to David too. Then I continued my work. I have actually accrued 56 hours above my master's degree. I only needed my research paperwork to get my doctoral degree, and maybe about 10 or 12 hours. But I was tired. I got through it. I was tired with that. But anyway, I didn't do a thesis.
Okay.
I did the test. They had them. You could either do a thesis or you could do the test.
Exam.
And I did the test.
Okay.
I didn't really have a lot of extra time to put toward experimenting, you see. And usually when you did a thesis, you had to do some type of a year experimenting to do your, especially for your doctor's degree, for your PhD. And that's why I didn't go back and finish it. No family has all good.
I know.
All right.
Skeletons in the closet.
Yes.
All our closets are full.
We do have a lot of skeletons.
I had a good life. I have no complaints about my life. I had problems. I had griefs. I have always had a very good opinion of myself. You see what I'm saying? And I think that is absolutely necessary for anybody. You think of yourself in a positive way. And hey, I'm important because God put me here. And if He didn't think I was important, I wouldn't have been here. So you keep this attitude to these great grandchildren and others and all of them. You're here for a purpose. God put you here. He doesn't want you to be down. He doesn't want you to bow your head, keep your head up. You're here for a reason. And if you keep that positive attitude, you will do what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? I'm here for a reason. I'm here because of my sister. We are like two peas in a pod, and he can tell you that. We take care of each other. But we are alike in that particular way. The only difference with her is she's too kind. I'm kind, but I don't let you walk on my feet too many times. So if that's saying anything, I'm not sure if it's going to be positive or not.
That is positive.
I have come a long way. I am 79 years old. I was born very, very, very poor. We used clothes from other people, but we always thought positively. My dad never felt that he could not support his family. He always did something to support the family. My mama sewed. My grandmother sewed clothes. We always had food on the table. As I said, we raised our own food. So it's the attitude that my parents gave me, that we are important. Doesn't matter where you came from. You are here. You be important. You be you. You don't have to follow anybody. You're here for a purpose. And you find out what your purpose is, and you follow that. So, to me, that I'm hoping this is what you were asking me of. But I did come from the fact that being very poor does not stop you from doing what you want to do. If you have that positive mind, I had to keep it in mind that I had to go live with somebody else, not my parents, to go to school, to get my education. But I did it because that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to live here, quite frankly. When I was small, this was an area with mud and pigs and horses and cows, and I wanted more than that for myself. I'm glad to be back here, but at the time, I was thinking that, hey, I want to be more than this. I don't want to just be a housewife. I want to be a teacher. And my goal in life has always been to help educate children. And if it means sitting down with my great-grandnephew and teaching him how to read and show him words and show him how to count and how to add and subtract, 5 years old, but this is my calling. I had 4 boys. You want me to tell you how I dealt with my boys?
That's
Keeping
right.
in mind I had 4 boys. My first 2 boys were 11 months apart. Then I had Wayne was 2 years after that, and Tyrone 2 years after that, and Errol was a year. Well, now, my boys would they had their own bedroom. That big bedroom they had. They had bunk beds. And then I had another little room on the side. Well, being boys, they were going to argue and they were going to fight. I had certain rules with them that I think, for the most part, they followed pretty well. But they knew if they got into it too heavily, I was coming in. They were in their room. And they knew what I was coming in with. What was it, Tyrone?
A broom.
A broom. Okay, boys. Mama's coming in. I made no difference. I just go. If you got it, you got it. Because you had no business fighting in here. This is my house.
Wasn't any right or wrong.
No.
She come through the
I don't
door
want to hear it.
swinging.
The thing is, you do not fight in my house. Point was respect. Exactly. The big word is respect. Love too, but respect. You can love a person and not respect them. You see what I'm saying? But I demanded this of my children. And I demanded this of my grandchildren. They had to respect. You know what I mean? There's such a thing. Well, Grandma said, okay, let's sit down and talk about it. But keep in mind, you don't raise your voice.
Unless it's about football.
Nope.
Yeah, well, about football,
That's something else.
Yeah, because, you know, I mean, it's like, like I had Talia and Tony and Louis and Jude. Well, Jude came later. But those 3, they knew from the very beginning, because I had them as babies.
Respect.
Know what to expect and not to expect. Well, of course, your smart one, Miss Talia, the oldest one, was in special, she had a special academic thing, and of course, she always thought she knew more than everybody else, including me. Well, I could accept some of that until she criticized me for not being a Democrat, not being in a Democratic house. She's in 1st grade. in a special academic school, you know what I mean?
We don't run a democracy in this house.
Oh, real smart. No, she came home and wanted to do something, and I told her no. And she insisted that she wanted, whatever it was, I can't remember right now.
Take a vote.
That this is what she, and she said, well, this is, you're not running this as a democracy. Well, actually, the teacher had been teaching about democracy. I can understand that. I looked at, what did I do, Tyrone? Oh, bam!
Hi-yow.
I said, this is not a democratic house. It's an authoritarian house. And guess who the authority is? Me. So you do what I say. She called her daddy. Daddy, we were in Texas, huh?
Yeah.
He was working in Texas. Well, Daddy, Grandma slapped me in the face. What did you tell her?
Better be lucky she ain't hit you with that broom.
But what I'm saying is I raised them like that. Respect, for knowing that, hey, you're a child. Undoubtedly, I know more than you because I've been here longer than you. So keep that in mind while you living here. So does that answer your question? What you were saying?
Yeah.
The respect was one of the things that I really, and actually in my classroom and in my library. The big thing with me.
If you were talking to the kids about this story you've just told,
yeah,
what would you say to them?
My whole concept of rearing my children was teaching them to love each other, okay, and love their parents too, but more so to love each other and to respect each other and respect me and their father.
Absolutely.
And the adults.
Mm-hmm.
This was a concept that I had with not only with my children and my grandchildren, but with my profession, as far as teaching in the schools. You have to. You come in here. Don't come in here in my library thinking that you are in control because you're not. And you're going to do what I'm telling you to do. I'll go along with you for a certain number for certain seconds or so, but then after that, keep in mind that you're walking into Mrs. Monget's library. So I'm the authority here. Well, my mama said, I said, well, I'll tell you what, son. First of all, you go straight to the principal's office and stay there till I come and get you. And I'm going to give you a note to take to your mama. Tell her to meet me here tomorrow. That's telling her to meet me here tomorrow morning. Because as far as she should be concerned was, when you walk in that door, you're in my control. I'm going to take care of you. I'm not going to let anybody hurt you. I'm going to teach you, but I'm not going to let you fool around and stop somebody else from learning. So that particular thing also goes back to that respect and love for one another and love for doing. I loved what I was doing. I think for my grandkids and my great-grandkids, they need to know that you're here and you need to learn how to get along with people. You need to love. You don't have to hug and kiss. Of course, I'm a hugging and kissing person. But you need to know that love comes with that respect. And you do things may not be right, but you need to rectify it. You need to find a way to make it right. Most people and most parents, I would say 99.9% of parents will forgive and try to help you make your life right. You know what I mean? You may not like it the way they do it, but keep in mind they're doing it because they think that it's right for you. And it's probably right for them as well. So what I have learned through years of working with different types of people, adults and children, is that people are so different today than they were years ago, in the sense that they feel that they have to always be the one in control, whereas you need to share some control of that with other people. It makes for a better life. So I don't know that I'm doing, I think that I've done a fairly good job. I don't regret anything I've done. I don't regret anything I've done, nothing.
Right, because you did what you did with what you had at the time and what you know at the time and what the situation was at the time.
Right. I did what I thought was right at the time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, like I said, wasn't 100%, but I felt I was. And I felt that, I still feel that most of the time I was right. So even putting Errol out, I was right. He learned that he couldn't talk back to me.
Exactly.
See? So, I mean, if nothing else, he learned that. He did give me a lot of respect after that, too, didn't he?
Well, yeah.
A lot of love, too. He gave me a lot of love.
After that.
So I hope whoever hears this or whatever gets something from it. I really enjoyed it.
I so appreciate
They
it.
shit
We
you
didn't
up.
even plan to be here this
you
long.
have-
but
You done burned up 6 hours of CD. Shit.
6 hours.
You have no idea what we've gone, what I have gone through in my life. You really haven't. Like early when I was really young, having to walk to school, having to put up with people calling you high yellow because of my color, going to Southern University, and having people criticize you because they said you were going to bed with this professor or that professor simply because you were good looking.
And you had good grades.
You had brains. You know, you were smart, and you were a different color. They did that. They did me that, David. I had a hard time. You know, but people don't know that. Children today don't know that. That people in our generation had to go and sit in the back of the bus.
Right.
They don't know that. They don't know that if I wanted to go downtown shopping and I wanted a hamburger, I had to go to a little corner in Crest to get a hamburger if I wanted to sit down and eat it. They don't know that. They don't know that I could not go to the theater. You had to go to a black theater. You had no swimming pool. If you wanted to swim, you had to go swim in a river. You see what I'm saying? So the children today need to know these things. I realize that. I know I'm going off the bat. I'm off on the tangent.
No, that's
here.
good.
Come on.
But
Come on.
the reason I think about all of this is that during February was my favorite month to teach when I was in the library. Because I took my classes from Africa, the continent of Africa, and the things that went on with the kings and queens and everything, and how the slaves were bought by other Africans. We were stolen and sold. Children don't know that. Nobody teaches them that. I took them through all of that they were actually stolen. These children were stolen by other Africans, sold to the white slave owners, put on ships and brought here. They don't know that. And they need to know that after they were brought here, they were sold, separated from their families, and sold. They know about Martin Luther King and about Harriet Tubman. But do they know that the ice cream cone and ice cream was developed by a black woman? That the ironing board was developed by a black woman? Different things, the signal light, red light, all of these things were developed by black people. But they don't know that. So that's why February was my favorite month, that I taught this whole synopsis of things from the beginning, Africa, all the way down to what we have now. Not just Martin Luther King. Do the whole thing. I put Martin Luther King on the back burner because the teachers were teaching him. The library did it different. I did the whole thing. I had a whole display of things that were made, developed, and created by black people. That some of them were stolen, the copyright, the patent, was stolen by the white man, like the cotton gin. That was developed by a black person. But he could not get the patent for it. So I taught those types of things. That's why I miss teaching. But I'm too old now, I can't do it anymore. But if I could just go in a school and make arrangements with the principal to just take 2 weeks in February
To teach.
and teach 5th and 6th grade children. That would be the highlight of what, because I taught it for so many years, you know. But I mean, that's really off of your tangent. I'm sorry.
No, I'm glad you said all that.
No, you're saying what you want to say. Is there anything else? Is there anything else you want to say?
Not really. Nothing other than that I'm happy. I'm glad my son is here with me. And he's helping to take care of him. My sister's wonderful. You know.
Tell me again how old you are.
I'm 79 and 1 day.
Oh, nice.
And happy birthday to you.
I'm so glad to be here. If I could, I'd do the second line.
Happy birthday to
I'm
you.
just as pleased. I want to find my grandparents' pictures that you said you wanted
Yes.
to see.
Let's
Must
do
be
that.
in your room, I guess.
Just be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Yeah.
Been
Take
sitting
your
there.
time.
Okay,
Take your
I
time.
have to.
Okay,